welcome everyone. Today we're talking about effective assessment practices in ESL and EFL classrooms. Assessment is the key of measuring students' progress, identifying areas for improvement, and adjusting our teaching methods. Let us start by looking at the types of assessment. We have diagnostic, formative, and summative. First, we have diagnostic assessment, which are used at the beginning to see what the students know. Examples that we have here is the pre-test and also our initial survey.
Erika, but if the diagnostic results show that the students already know the topic, how do you adjust the course?
Okay, so here is a great question, Molly. So because if the students already understand the topic, we can go deeper into advanced materials or skip over parts at the same time and keep the course moving.
Do we only do this evaluation at the start, or we can repeat it during the course?
We usually do it at the beginning, but it can be repeated if needed to adjust the focus during the course.
And is it recommended for all courses or just certain ones?
Okay, it's recommended for all courses, especially in more technical subjects or where here content can vary. It helps personalize the learning for everyone.
How do you ensure the results are accurate and truly reflect what the students know?
Good question, Evelyn. So to ensure accuracy, the evaluation should be clear, aligned with the course objectives, also here, and vary the question combining with observation give us the fuller picture of the students.
Now let's shift focus to formative assessment. This happens during learning and help us monitor students' progress. Tools like Kahoot or quick quizzes are examples, and they focus on giving feedback, not grades.
How do you know if these assessments really helps to improve the understanding of your students?
Formative assessment gives us immediate feedback. It means that if something is not clear, we can adjust our teaching right away.
And formative assessment should be done in every classes or just in specific cases?
They are not necessary in every class, but they are very useful in more difficult lessons to help the students.
How do you avoid making the students feel anxious with so many assessments?
The key is that formative assessment are tools to help, not test. It means that the students are not graded and they feel less stressed, less anxious, and more relaxed.
Okay, so Molly, do you think formative assessment should always be digital or it can be in person as well?
Both are valid. Digital tools are very helpful, but in-person activities can also be effective depending on the context.
Another important point is summative assessments. These are done at the end of the course to measure what students have learned. Examples include final exams or projects. These focus on oral achievements.
How do you ensure these assessments are fair and truly reflect the students' learning?
Summative assessments must be fair, reliable, and valid. This means that questions must match the course goals and the results should be consistent, no matter who grades them.
And how long should this assessment last?
They should last between 60 to 90 minutes. That's enough to cover the content without overwhelming students.
And if a student doesn't do well on a summative assessment, that does mean the student didn't learn anything?
Not necessarily. Summative assessments don't capture everything in the test, like critical thinking or creativity. That's we need to use other assessments to get the full picture of the learning students.
Okay, Dani, so how can you reduce stress during this assessment?
We need to give enough time to prepare and keep the assessment balanced without overloading students with too much information.
So the next one is diagnostic assessment and adaptation. So they are key because it helps us to adjust the content in favor to the students' weaknesses and strengths.
How do you use these results to adjust the course?
Well, with the outcomes or the results, we can create flexible groups and identify repetitive problems. I don't know, maybe writing. So we can create some tasks to support them.
And should these diagnostics can be done multiple times during the course?
Actually, it's a good idea to develop this in different times of the course because if you are introducing a new topic, it is going to be really useful to have a background about the student's knowledge.
What if some students don't have access to the necessary tools?
Actually, institutions must ensure that students have the opportunity and the access to participate in this kind of assessment. And if they don't have technological devices, they should try to look for another option.
Okay, but how do you ensure these diagnostics are accurate, especially in large classes?
Well, we are using technological devices and classes that are only English, but also we can complement by using the observation and a portfolio to obtain different kind of materials that they are developing during the course.
Finally, technology and language assessment plays a whole role in managing assessment and provide instant feedback. Tools like Person View, Socrates, and Google Forms are very helpful.
And how do we ensure these tools don't become a distraction for students?
The key is to use tools that align with course objectives because when students are comfortable with the technology, they focus more on that content.
And are these digital tools sustainable for all levels?
Yes, but they need to adapt it. Interactive tools are great for younger students, while platforms like Socrates work better for advanced students.
What about equity in access to these technologies?
That's a big challenge. Institution must make sure all the students have access to the right technologies or offer alternatives when needed.
Okay, so Evelyn, do you think that digital tools can change our students' views?
Yes, they make assessment more interactive and intensive, which increases motivation. Also immediate feedback helps the students learn from their mistakes faster.
Okay, so that was all for today. Thank you for joining us in this episode about how assessment in the EFL classroom and ESL could be really helpful. So we hope you enjoy as we did, and see you in the next episode.